What is up YouTube? OpTic here bringing you another video, and today I want to be talking to you guys about the current state of Gears. This is episode 2. I think it's been like 2 or 3 weeks since we've done this, and the last one we talked about the current matchmaking. And this topic is going to be probably a little bit more brief, but we're going to be talking about the current options of games and game types, more specifically within Gears of War 4, and how I would like to see that get expanded upon and maybe changed up some now that we're in season 2 of esports Gears, and I think season 2 of ranked as well. So since release, the game has been basically the same in terms of what game types are available, excluding special events, right? So we've had special events like One Shot, One Kill, Nasher Only King of the Hill, which is arguably the best game type that we've had outside of Escalation, and then Valentine's events and Halloween events and whatnot. So a lot of cool different special events. In terms of core, we've always had the same games. You have like Warzone, you have TDM, you have King of the Hill, Guardian, Arms Race, so on and so forth. And in competitive, you have Execution, Escalation, and then at some point, maybe halfway since the game release, it was about 6 months ago, maybe a little bit more recent, they added the competitive warm-up, which there was a lot of hype behind competitive warm-up, but realistically, competitive warm-up just turned into... I don't even know. It's kind of hard to explain. Competitive warm-up doesn't feel like warm-up because there's power weapons and it's just, it doesn't play the same way that a lot of competitive players like to actually warm up for the game in shotgun lobbies. So then they released recently I already mentioned the Nasher playlist, and I forgot to mention they had the beta playlist for competitive where they were testing the different tunings. But then they released the Nasher's Only King of the Hill playlist, and this is kind of what sparked the idea for this video. That playlist specifically was my favorite playlist. Now, in the previous video, the previous iteration of this series, we talked a lot about having purpose to play the game, right? Having a sense of accomplishment, having reason to get on and play the game and grind the game. And we still don't really have that yet. But the alternative to that is to be able to just get on and kind of play the game casually and enjoy it and relax, right? It just be one of those games where you can just kind of mindlessly play and have fun. And for me personally, I'm competitive, and I have a somewhat name in the community as the coach for OpTic Gaming, so I kind of have to play a little bit more competitively than normal. It's hard for me to just sit back and relax and play the game because I either get humped or I get messages where the people are trash talking me, so on and so forth. So it's a little bit more difficult to just play Gears of War in a passive kind of state. And the Nasher's Only King of the Hill lobby, for some reason, kind of triggered that within me. It allowed me to do that. It allowed me to reach that place where I could just get on where I wanted to get on and just kind of play the game and have fun. It was just a very easy, a very laid back. You could go hard and try to get clips. You could casually play it. You could play it with friends, but you never really ran into that squad of people just sweating to try to get, capture all 3 hills, or not all 3 hills, but all the hills and 180 to 0 U or whatever the score limit is. You never really ran into that, right? You just had fun and shot your shotgun, which is in theory what competitive warm-up really should be. But then they took that playlist away, right? And I had a pretty upset reaction to it on stream where I was just kind of speechless because it was the first playlist since I hit Diamond in Escalation in the preseason, before even season 1, where I felt like I wanted to play. Like I was getting on at nighttime and just playing the game and listening to music and hanging out and talking to friends and stuff. And I haven't had that on Gears of War in a long time. So I was really sad. I was really sad to see it go. And so that sparked this video where I want to talk about seeing more game types added to the various playlists. For example, I would like to see game types like TDM and possibly even King of the Hill added to the competitive tuning so that people who are competitive tuning players, for example, me, I hate core tuning, can go and play those game types without having to be sick of playing the actual tuning. And that's kind of the problem when you divide the game into 2 tunings rather than the 2 systems. Like League of Legends, you have normals and you have ranked, where you're going to get the same game across both, but you're going to get a little bit more try-hard and ranked. In Gears, we have 2 different tunings of the game, and not only that, but we can only play, like, certain game types in those separate tunings. So if I want to play TDM, if I want to play King of the Hill, I have to go into core tuning, which for me, I hate. If somebody wants to play escalation, but they hate competitive tuning, they don't really have a choice. So it really kind of sucks that there hasn't been any changes now that we've already passed the birthday of Gears of War 4 a few days ago. It really sucks that we haven't had any changes in that year. So I'm hoping to see some of those changes. Personally, I would like to see more game types added to competitive, and then maybe for season 3, which I know is very ambitious to talk about season 3 of Esports Gears, but assuming season 2 is successful and they move into a season 3, I would like to see perhaps more game types added to the competitive playlist. That way escalation doesn't get so repetitive, and it adds more dynamic to the current matches. So for example, in Call of Duty, you have 3 different game types: uplink, domination, I think it's called, and search and destroyed. So you have your kind of King of the Hill type, you have your actually really cool uplink type, and then you have your search and destroy, your single life, no respawn game type. It adds more dynamics. You can have teams that are good at one game type and not as good at another. You could do that in Gears of War with a TDM playlist, and then create some sort of objective but single life, like execution, but add an objective into it, like a bomb game type. And then add in, you keep your escalation, and you have multiple ways to play the game within a competitive match. So I don't know, I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head and some things that I would like to see and where the current state of the game is. I really want to see those different game type options added in to the different different tunings, rather, the core and competitive. I would like to see TDM and King of the Hill at least. I don't really care too much about Guardian or Arms Race, but just some more variation for those of us who are getting burnout on escalation. We place Diamond off our placement matches, so we don't really have any reason to play it, and you took away our Nashor's only King of the Hill lobby. God, I'm so bitter about that. But guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think, what game types you want to see added, or if you think it's fine the way it is. Make sure to hit the like button, and while you're down there, of course, subscribe to the channel with alerts on. Guys, I appreciate the support. Thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Go.